Well, hello there and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to declutter my husband's wardrobe, which is right behind me here, as well as his drawers. Now, I probably declutter my wardrobe every 3 to 4 months, and usually it's not a huge declutter. I will link a couple of videos below where I have decluttered my clothes. But today it's time for my husband's kind of annual run through of his clothes. We're going to look through stuff we can get rid of, the stuff that's too worn, and stuff that he might need to replace. So we are gonna dive in and I'm gonna show you the spaces that we're working with, and then we're gonna get cleaning. Now, I have also had a quick look in the cupboards what we might need, and I have one of these large low tubs that I have an idea for to organize his hats. He has quite a lot of sports caps and hats, and he doesn't really have anywhere to put those, so we may or may not end up using this. I've nicked this from my pantry where it normally lives, so hopefully we can use that to organize today, but I don't have any other tools, bins, containers. This is more about going through the stuff that's there, seeing what we can get rid of, and looking for any other storage solutions we need to put in place for him. So welcome to our quite minimalist bedroom. That's a container we may or may not be using later. I did a makeover of this room probably about 6 months ago. I will link that in the description box below for you if you'd like to see what we kind of did and how we did that. But today we're tackling my husband's wardrobe, which is on this side, and it's not too bad. It's just that he has a little bit more clothes, I think, than he actually uses. So up here we've just got a general pile of warmer jumpers, some t-shirts that are not for work. This is mostly his work clothes here. We've got a tub down here of like workout gear. So that's pretty much that. And then on this side, we have a big tub. I think this is branded work clothing for his work. That's the other side of all the big jumpers. We've got some shoes here. Most of our shoes live downstairs, but this is sort of stuff he uses a bit more rarely. Back here, I believe we have the suit he wore at his wedding and maybe another suit. And then, yeah, we've got sort of long sleeve shirts, some ties. And down there is an overnight bag that we quite frequently use for work. So that's the wardrobe situation we're dealing with. And over here we both have a side. So this is my side here that I've decluttered quite a few times before. But over here we have pajamas, underwear. This drawer is getting pretty full. We've also got quite a bit of socks, sports caps. Like I said, I think we can transfer them to a bigger, more suitable storage thing. And then down here we've got sort of jeans, pants and shorts. So it's not messy, it's just that I'm noticing when I'm putting the laundry away that it's a bit too much inventory for him to use. So when you're decluttering, it can be really good to work in sections. So what we're starting with here is all the long sleeve items, hoodies, tops, things like that. And the goal, by the way, for my husband was really just to pare back anything that he was no longer wearing, that didn't fit him, that wasn't comfortable. Anything that remains on the bed here in the footage is stuff that we're keeping, and anything that gets tossed on the floor in the background are things that are going. And I will later go through and show you what's donation and what is trash or rubbish that can't be sent to the op shop. But working in sections can be really, really helpful, and my husband has a lot of these sort of fleecy long sleeves. We do a lot of camping and hiking and stuff like that. And it does, by the way, if you don't live in Australia, you should know that it does get cold here in the winter time in the southern part of Australia where we live, near Melbourne. So it's not all sunshine and surfing in Australia all the time. And in terms of work shirts, my husband used to have a lot of long sleeve and short sleeve kind of button-up shirts, which we'll go through a little bit later in the footage, but he's moved more towards these sort of polo shirt type style. And so we're just going through, and he's keeping all of those because many of them are quite new. And then we've got the more sort of casual t-shirts. You'll also see a theme here. With minimalist clothing, he tends to do very few prints. He's got a couple of t-shirts that are leaving, but most of his shirts are pretty neutral without big prints or labels or logos on them. So yeah, working through the pile here, and when it comes to casual shirts, this little pile here is basically just overflow t-shirts. Some of them we are demoting to workout gear, which is what that grey bin is. We'll go through that in a little bit as well. But essentially he also had duplicates of some of his clothes, and we just had a long hard look, and he did a really good job in thinking about the last time he wore the item. That's usually the question I ask. Have you worn this in the last 12 months? And in some instances when the answer was no, we simply decluttered it, because it's obviously not something he's gonna miss. Now, we are very fortunate to have a very large wardrobe. The house that we live in, we actually built, so this is a new house, and I did a empty house tour. I will do an updated house tour very soon, but I will link the full house tour down below. But we are very fortunate to have a large wardrobe with a sort of his and her side. So I also asked my husband if he wanted things folded or hanging, and he prefers things hanging. He's a very visual organizer. If he can see it and it's in front of him, he will use it. I'm very much the same. It's only things like workout gear and other things that I put aside. So that was a little snapshot of the pile so far on the floor, and now we're just going through workout gear. This was a pretty quick pass because most of this stuff he still uses. He had a couple of jeans that were worn and had holes on the knees, etc. One of these pair of jeans is getting demoted to like painting, gardening, messy job backup clothes, and the rest is just gone through here quickly. So now we're moving on to button-up shirts, and like I said, he used to wear a lot more of this, but he finds the polo shirts a little bit more comfortable. So with regards to his long sleeve shirts, he does find it annoying as well to have to iron things. So we're keeping those two white shirts because they're more for like suits and stuff. But with these other long sleeve shirts, some of these are very good quality. He tends to buy really good quality and hold on to things. But a few of these items are actually ready to go. They were a bit crusty looking on the collar, or they had been, they had a lot of wear. So some of those are going to the op shop, and most of them are going in the trash because they were actually not kind of good enough to be worn by somebody else. So he's got sort of two categories. On the right there, he's got the more casual shirts, and then on the left there are shirts that he would typically wear possibly to the office. And with regards to belts, he had quite a lot of these black leather belts that looked very similar, but some of them he hasn't worn for a long time because they are quite damaged and worn. So he ended up getting rid of two that were looking not very good, and they actually went in the bin. We couldn't find a way to repurpose them, unfortunately, but that pile there on the floor is growing. And we're moving on to the drawers, which weren't too bad. This is probably the smaller declutter that we did. That pajama top of Super Mario he got from his sister for, I think it was Christmas the other year or something. He loves that. Anyway, moving on to sports caps. I mentioned at the start of the video that we don't really have a great way to store these. So he was pretty good here and pretty ruthless. He gets these advertising ones. I've gotten some from events for him, he's gotten some, but we got rid of about half of those hats, which well done to him. And for some reason he had like socks still with a label on them, so I sent him off to actually take the label off so he can use the socks. But I'm just having a quick pass here. He's pretty good at going through socks and underwear, you know, if there's holes or wear or something, and I see it in the wash or he sees it, you know, he'll be pretty good about throwing things away. Also, we have a no lonely sock policy, so if when the laundry is done, there's a sock missing, it goes in the bin. It doesn't go into the weird little basket of socks without a friend, because it's just the two of us as well. It's quite easy to see if it's one of his or one of my socks missing. So yeah, just having a quick pass at this. And by the way, if you have a really messy wardrobe or something, starting with socks and underwear can be a really good place to start, because in reality, most of us really only need enough underwear and socks to last us for a week and a bit. So do a little bit of inventory, see what you've got and see if it's too much. And we're on the home stretch here. We've just got shorts and pants. So my husband, like me, is pretty minimal. He's only got 2 pair of blue jeans, one he's wearing as you can see, and 2 pair of black, well, one is jeans, one is like a looser fit pants, and then he's got a couple of shorts, including these jeans shorts that I actually cut off and sewed for him from an old pair of jeans. And that is the giant pile there on the floor. It's pretty impressive. Okay, so that was a successful clear out. We've got all these things here are decent enough quality to go to the secondhand shop, so I'm going to fold all this up and take it down to the secondhand shop this week. We also have a cat under the bed who's been helping out. These things are all quite worn. Some of these t-shirts and stuff we might cut up and turn into rags, and that belt unfortunately is really, really worn, so I'm not going to be able to use that. So this is rubbish, and I'm actually, it doesn't look huge, but this is a very large pile. He was really good and very ruthless in the clear out, so thank you, my darling, I appreciate it. So here is what the wardrobe ended up looking like. He's actually got spare hangers now, which he hasn't had for a long time. Up here we actually didn't end up putting the hats. We put our kind of dirty painting, gardening clothes, you know, like stuff that's not great quality, but we do have a house and a big garden, so when we do gardening and stuff like that, so we've combined our joint gardening clothes there. This here is the hoodie and the 2 nice tops that he wears for work quite often in the winter time. And then we've got kind of nicer t-shirts, casual t-shirts here in the middle. Some of these long sleeve comfy ones that he uses for camping and stuff. A couple of short sleeve and long sleeve shirts. These white ones here, this is a linen shirt that he wore for our wedding. And this one here is goes with another one of his suits. So he also prefers to have his workout gear down at the bottom rather than up here, because he is quite visual, so he likes to kind of see what he's got. So that's his like hiking clothes, workout gear and stuff like that. And then here on the other side, we didn't actually change all that much. Up there is some stuff that he uses for work, like branded workwear. He's got 3 kind of nicer pants here that he uses not that often, but they're for work and stuff. He's only got 2 ties, and as you saw, we culled a couple of the belts. And then he actually preferred to have his sports caps and his hats in here. So he's only got about 5, but he figured if he's got them there, it's a lot more visual. And we had a quick look at the shoes, but he didn't really need to get rid of much there. He's got a couple of nicer work shoes that are downstairs in our hallway. And then back here, we didn't change this. These both fit him. This is the suit he wore to our wedding. And this back here is just a black plain suit for, you know, funerals or things like that. So that turned out pretty dang good. I love that he's got spare hangers. And then moving past the mountain of clothes. So in here, this drawer is actually quite shallow. So we pared this back to just pajama tops and pajama pants or bottoms. In here, we've got his socks. We pared that down. So we've got like warm kind of hiking socks, regular sort of sports and dress socks. And the underwear fits in this because this drawer is actually a bit deeper. And finally, we've got jeans and shorts. So he's got 2 black pair of jeans, 1 blue pair in here, and then he's wearing one. So I'm pretty stoked with that, and I'm really grateful that he wanted to tackle this with me and allowed me to film it. It's very nice of him, and I think it just goes to show, even if you do this once a year, how much stuff you can actually get rid of.